Hey, what's up guys, it's Master Leaf here, back with another Kane Draft video commentary, and today we have DD Swag playing as the yellow random, who is, without question, Dirty Dutch, and we also have in Soviet Russia playing as the red GDI. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. And needless to say, the map is Tournament Rift. So we have in Soviet Russia over here, who is Haruspex, but I'm just going to refer to him by in Soviet Russia to avoid confusion. Looks like he has GDI. Dirty Dutch, on the other hand, is Nod. It looks like he's got a Nod faction. Can't tell which particular Nod faction he has since he drawn it from random. We're going to have to wait until he gets a hand of Nod or drafts a tower before we can truly know what particular faction of the Brotherhood he is. So it looks like in Soviet Russia, only going with one engineer, so neither side bothering to go for the tip spikes. Perhaps they feel it's not worth the risk going down there and taking them. Perhaps they've played a couple previous games and found that going for those spikes didn't work out too well at all. Which is often why you see games where players generally ignore the spikes, and then other times they don't. Unless, of course, your name is unleashed. And regardless, he goes for the spikes anyways. So, Dirty Dutch going with Black Hand. So, Dirty Dutch drawn Black Hand from random. Wow. Got his favorite faction. And he is also yellow. So, his units and structures will appear slightly more camouflaged on this radar, on this minimap, compared to other colors. It's not a color with high contrast, if you know what I mean. You can hardly make out the units on this minimap to begin with, but yellow makes it even worse. Dirty Dutch going for the expansion. 3 harvesters up. What is in Soviet Russia got here? He's got 3 harvesters. Dirty Dutch has to micro this bike as it is getting shot down by these harvesters. In Soviet Russia knows that he is not being rushed. That bike by Dirty Dutch trying to throw Haruspex off, trying to tell Haruspex that, hey, I've got 3 bikes incoming, but no, Haruspex is too good for that, and he realizes that that is just a single bike, and he doesn't have to worry, although he'll have to clean it up sooner or later, as this harvester, for example, is getting really low on health. But Haruspex not bothering to repair that harvester. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, since the harvesters do harvest at a slower efficiency once they reach that critical health. The foxhole being de-garrisoned here. So Haruspex got good, I call him Haruspex, I mean in Soviet Russia. He's got good eyes here, you can see everything. He just has to watch out for the harvesters that can crush. Luckily he can spot the harvesters since he is playing against Black Hand. Dirty Dutch moving his MCV towards the middle blue. That's a really unorthodox tactic. I don't often see Dirty Dutch go for this kind of build. But maybe against GDI it works better than, say, Traveler. I mean, he plays Traveler. I mean, I play Traveler a lot versus his Black Hand, and he never, I repeat, never goes for the blue Tiberium field. It's probably better just leeching the blue field and sending a couple harvesters to leech, to capture the spike, send a couple engineers there. But the Tiberium spike being uncaptured here, so Dirty Dutch needs to capture that Tiberium spike. I did not notice that. And he has to immediately go for that Saboteur and capture that Tiberium spike. He has gained control of this structure here, so it isn't exactly contested. In Soviet Russia, going for hammerheads now, so he's going for hammerheads, getting that APM upgrade. Desperately needs to go for that upgrade as the Black Hand man spam is fairly deadly. And I don't think you can stand up to it without the upgrade. Dirty Dutch already has the Black Disciple upgrade, so he's probably planning to push infantry. Not going for the refinery first, though. I'd think he'd go for the refinery, but perhaps he's waiting for this field to regrow slightly. Both of the Tiberium spikes did get captured. Oh no, wait. One of the Tiberium spikes has remained uncaptured, so his engineer may have got sniped down by this hammerhead here. So good awareness by Haruspex in being able to take down that engineer. Does he have a refinery up yet? No refinery up yet for either players at their expansion. Dirty Dutch going for the double racks, getting as much of those militant rocket squads out as possible. Of course, Black Hand being notorious for those extremely powerful infantry squads. Selling off that secret shrine because you don't need it anymore unless he is going to be purchasing the Purifying Flame upgrade, but at this stage of the game, it's hardly worth it, in my honest opinion. The construction yard, though, is being under attack. Luckily, GDI do get access to the fence, the Sonic Repulsion Field, as it's known as, but Dirty Dutch has to micro his bikes away. Poor micro there by Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch not paying much attention, losing those bikes to the Orca Strike. And Haruspex, what are you going for? You're going for a couple Hammerheads and Pitbulls, which are going to this base. They're going to destroy a couple Harvesters here. Meanwhile, bikes are going to destroy more Harvesters of Haruspex. So Haruspex may come out on top here if he can destroy all these Harvesters of Dirty Dutch. But Dirty Dutch has secured the middle blue field, which will give him a much needed cash injection. But still, all the Harvesters did get cleaned up here. The Hammerheads and Pitbulls are still alive. And just one Harvester, 2 Harvesters remain for Haruspex. So Haruspex exchanging losses. And he sold his construction yard. So no more Tiberium. No more ground control here for Haruspex. So he cannot place a refinery. And there is a Black Hand man spam, which I think is going to be pushing towards Haruspex's base. Haruspex definitely needs to do something right now, as he is extremely stretched for cash. He has not much in the way of units except these Hammerheads here, and he could go for these very vulnerable power plants that are situated very, very oddly in the middle here. But where are the Hammerheads going instead? He's just going to avoid these rocket squads. Not a bad idea. Dirty Dutch could definitely sell this power plant, get a Cabal squad or 2 just to buff those rocket squads rather. Selling off the refineries and watchtowers. This is going to be a very minimalistic game now, but Dirty Dutch has the blue Tiberium. There is a lot of blue Tiberium. There's probably enough here for 3 or 4 loads of blue Tiberium. Hammerhead sniping down more and more power plants, so Dirty Dutch is going to have to replace those power plants. Not what he wants to do with that money he's receiving from the blue Tiberium field. Haruspex, he does have 2 Harvesters now, and only a handful of Hammerheads. What is he going to do? Dirty Dutch, if he is playing smart, he could definitely push Raider Buggies, and Raider Buggies is what he's going for. Those bikes, those attack bikes will not last too long against these Hammerheads here. He's going to have to get something with a fair amount of hit points. And Buggies are better than bikes in my honest opinion for taking out Hammerheads, unless you have the Tib Core upgrade, and in which case the bikes are a no-brainer. But yeah, the Hammerhead's going to go back to the airfield for repairs. I think some of them do need repairs. Let's just bring up the health bars here. Yep, some of them do need repairs here. The Tib Spike being flamed down, so Dirty Dutch not wanting Haruspex to gain much income from those Tiberium spikes, flaming it down. Not a bad idea. And where is his infantry? Cloud. Okay, his infantry is probably going to be marching into this base here, but there are so many Hammerheads. I think he could overwhelm the rocket squads, especially as there are now tons of rocket squads being split apart from the main base. This is terrible by Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch, he definitely needs to consolidate his forces a little bit better, but no, he's not bothering to respond to this Hammerhead threat with those rocket squads. Instead, he's going to push these rocket squads into the base. Haruspex, in Soviet Russia, has nothing to respond to these rockets with, and there is even a very, very, very vulnerable upgraded power plant there. 7 Hammerheads are still alive for Haruspex, but Dirty Dutch has the expansion up. He has the expansion up, and he's probably working on a secondary refinery, and that'll be terrible news for Haruspex. Haruspex, he needs this airfield to stay alive at all costs. He needs to get more anti-infantry up, maybe sell this command post. Definitely sell the command post, as that has a it's worth a lot of money really. If you sell it, you can get $750 back in return. Of course, selling structures in this game will give you back 50% of its original value. And yeah, I think Haruspex has enough Hammerheads here to deal with the rocket squads, which he should definitely be doing right now. Hammerheads are coming in. Definitely go in there now. Dirty Dutch does not have any Cabal squads there to lead those rocket squads to victory, and unfortunately they were not able to accomplish much at all. Dirty Dutch, though, he does have a economy set up. Those Harvesters are not stealth, so they are very, very, very vulnerable to these Hammerheads, and Haruspex definitely has those Harvesters on his mind, and he's probably going straight for Dirty Dutch's economy. And once he's gone for that economy, then he could probably win this game with these Hammerheads here. More and more power plants being destroyed which is a good idea because once those power plants are down, then Dirty Dutch will not have the ability to place base defenses, as he will have no power. And 2 hammers begin sniped down. Oh, that's very good focus firing there by Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch using these Raider buggies very, very effectively. Haruspex only has 5 hammerheads remaining. Will he be able to take out these harvesters? I think so, because there are just too many hammerheads here for Dirty Dutch to cope with. And as you can see, these Raider buggies are just going to get milked out of the war factory. And unfortunately, Dirty Dutch has nothing here to respond to these hammerheads, and Haruspex has come out with such a highly unlikely victory with just a handful of hammerheads here. A very, very good harassment in the early game by in Soviet Russia. I've been interchanging their names all game, but you get what I mean. In Soviet Russia, Haruspex, it's kind of obvious. Not really, but you know, there you go. And this war factory will go down. Does Dirty Dutch have a last ditch attempt? Okay, he's going for a last ditch attempt, training the rocket squads, which isn't a bad idea, especially as Haruspex has not much of a base or an income. He does have the construction yard back, so he has a build queue. But I think that Dirty Dutch will realize that he has lost this game, especially as there are now 4, I count them 3, now there's 4 promoted hammerheads, and there is even an elite hammerhead there with a very nice insignia. And I think these hammerheads are just promoting every day, aren't they? And yeah, he's got more than enough here to take out these rocket squads. I think in Soviet Russia could definitely end this game right now, but he's going for the tip spikes just to ensure that Dirty Dutch will not have any more income to make those rocket squads. The construction yard probably has a refinery queued. Oh no, he's packing up his MCV. Maybe he does not have enough money for a refinery, but he should have, as he does have a refinery and a harvester, and I assume he's been leeching from this field here. As you can see, a part of it has been mined. So yeah, Dirty Dutch going for this last stand, I guess. I'm not sure if he'll be able to do much with these infantry forces. Well, maybe in Soviet Russia underestimates these hammerheads. He could just push into those rocket squads and destroy all of them, I reckon. But he's playing safe, which is always the best way to play. And the sniper teams are out now for Haruspex, and that will mean GG for Dirty Dutch. And yeah, that was a pretty good game, actually. Nice short game. And I do apologize for sounding tired. That is because I am. And yep, very, very nice game. Was not expecting Haruspex there to come out with a victory, especially as Dirty Dutch had control of that blue Tiberian field. But yes, sniping down those power plants in the end, forcing Dirty Dutch to spend his much needed resources in rebuilding those instead of getting his tech or infrastructure up. So yeah, that was a pretty good game. And if we go through the stats briefly, we can see that Dirty Dutch was ahead for the most part in that game. And in Soviet Russia, falling flat pretty much at the 5-minute mark. He did not have much income after that. Dirty Dutch just hanging on there. I'm not sure if infantry was a good idea, especially after scouting. After scouting in Soviet Russia, going for those hammerheads. AP ammo just so lethal against infantry, even the Black Hand infantry, which is the most powerful in the game. So yeah, that was a entertaining watch. I will love that game. So yeah, this is Marsleaf, and if you thought the video was remotely entertaining, then don't forget to like it, and I'll bring some more, hopefully more entertaining games in the future. So yeah, peace out.